Hello Seekers, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you to all my new subscribers and to those of you who are taking the time and energy today to listen to this reading. Today what we're going to be looking at is, what must we let go? Should we let go? That is a question we're going to be asking the cards. Should we let go? And we will also try and see if there is any direction as to what we should let go. So today's reading is all about releasing, letting go, and trying to see if we can find a way to move forward. So you can see I've got 4 piles here: air, water, earth, and fire. Today I've also added a crystal to each of the piles. The air pile has the beautiful Larimar stone. You can see how gorgeous it is. The water pile has the beautiful Moonstone with a little bit of mica there. This is the Eudialyte, which is the earth pile. Beautiful Eudialyte ball. And there's a little tumbled piece for you to have a close look. And the fire pile has a beautiful red, deep red garnet. You can find out what each of the stones mean. I will put a link at the bottom. I will do a blog post about this reading and what each of these stones bring to each pile. But that I will link in the description down below. So while you're thinking about which pile you would like to choose today, air, water, earth, or fire, just remember that this is a timeless reading. You'll find the reading when you're meant to hear the message. And remember too that this is a general reading. You will, as you listen, some things will resonate with you, and that is what you must take away. Whatever resonates with your own inner wisdom, and the rest you'll let go, which is quite appropriate as this reading is all about letting go. If you find yourselves drawn to more than one pile, feel free to look at the timestamps below in the description box and listen to more than one pile. So let's move on with the reading. I will give you a few moments to pick your pile. Air with the Larimar, water with the Moonstone, earth with the Eudialyte, and fire with the Garnet. So pick your pile. Today we'll start with the air pile. And let us see what the air pile has to offer. We are looking at the Larimar stone with the feather representing air. So the first card we're going to look at is an archetype card. Starfish. Okay. Then we look at the gateway cards. So remember, today's reading is all about letting go, what we need to release and let go so we can move forward. So we have the gateway. And the first card of the gateway is, what do I need to know about letting go and moving forward? And this card for you, air pile, is the wren. And the second pillar of the gateway is, what am I feeling right now? And that for you, air pile, is the fire dragon. Okay, interesting. The starfish is a sea animal. The wren is a flight, an air animal, which of course is appropriate for the air pile. And the dragon is both water and air, and it brings in, this is the fire dragon. So it brings in fire as well. Okay, let's move on. So we're now going to look at your tarot cards. So the first card tells us What is the root cause of why you're stuck, why you have something that you need to let go? That is heartache and loss. Let me move these cards up a bit, make a bit of space here. So I hope you can see those cards. So that's the root cause, heartache and loss. The second card is what is stopping me from moving forward. Interesting. Harmony. This is a major arcana card. It's the Lovers, but it's in the position of what is stopping you from moving forward, what is stopping you from letting go. Okay, we'll look at all the cards together. And then the final tarot card is, what do I need to grow towards? And that is Love Begins. It's an emotional card. It's a green border, card of the heart. Then this is the Wisdom card, which we will open at the end of the reading. So let's try and put these all together now. Okay, so we'll start with the starfish. The starfish is a very unique animal. It's a beautiful, unusual animal. When anybody sees a starfish, they get very excited. There's this feeling of being connected to the divine, of being connected with something greater than yourself. The starfish has quite an uplifting, you get excited when you find a starfish. But when you turn a starfish over, it's sort of hollow. You know, it's not like a solid creature. And there's a suggestion here with this card that perhaps there may be a feeling of emptiness inside. There may be this beautiful exterior, this exterior of everything in harmony and everything looking so good and beautiful, but it may be a shell, a superficial face that is hiding pain and loss and heartache. And this card is what I'm feeling right now. And the fire dragon can be passion, it can be vitality, it can be enthusiasm, it can be an energy that brings courage. But I think the feeling I'm getting off this card is more anger. All the black smoke and the screaming mouth. It's almost like there's a whole lot of emotion here that's been repressed, being hidden behind the beautiful face of the starfish, that unique, unusual starfish that on the outside looks so wonderful and as if it has everything together and in harmony. But in actual fact, it's hiding a feeling of emptiness, and that emptiness is being filled with suppressed or repressed emotions, perhaps a lot of anger at the way things have happened. Let's look at the other gateway card. I was just pulled to these cards. This is a gentle little wren, beautiful little bird. It's quite an ordinary, everyday little bird. And you can see it's hidden, very hidden in amongst the leaves of the tree. It's keeping its little nest safe and it's working hard. And it's almost as if it's hard work and its whole life from birth to death, hatching the little chicklets, all of that is invisible. It goes on behind the scenes almost, hidden by the leaves of the trees. And this is in the position of what I need to know. And perhaps tying in with these feelings of repressed rage, perhaps there's the starfish on the surface of this beauty and unique, almost divine presence, but it may be hiding feelings of being too humble, of being ordinary, of being invisible, that all the hard work that is done is invisible, and that may be related to what the repressed anger is. Because if we work hard and we live our lives and we do the best we can, and we look at somebody else who seems to have everything, the beauty, the connections, the ability to make things happen in a magical kind of way, and here we as a little wren are working away, invisible, living our little ordinary lives, and yet we may feel that we may long to be the starfish, and when we can't be the starfish, the rage and the anger may build up. So the wren, it's a very humble little bird. It's a very ordinary bird, as I said. And how does it survive? It's a very clever little bird. And it will use feathers and twigs and everything that it finds. And perhaps you need to examine here, you need to examine whether you are embracing the worthiness of your ordinary, everyday, I don't want to say presence, but perhaps the tasks you do don't seem as glamorous and exciting as what a starfish does. And perhaps you may be comparing the ordinariness of the wren to the glamour and glitz of the starfish. But the wren is coming to tell us that that ordinary hard work, those little tasks, attending to those small ordinary things that build a home and are perhaps not seen and recognized as much as the starfish energy is equally important. But we may need to be careful that we don't slip into trying to hook a ride on the back of somebody else's unique talents, experiences, beauty, because that at the end of the day will leave us feeling empty, or it will bring in a sense of frustration, it will bring in the anger, it will bring in the volcano waiting to explode. But there's another layer here. I'm feeling, there's this repressed anger, but it's tied in very much to this card, the heartache and loss card. And I'm not getting so much that this is a physical loss, like a loss of a loved one, although it could be. But more, I'm feeling that this heartache and loss is to do with lost dreams, lost hopes. Perhaps you had a vision of how your life was going to be and you envisaged yourself as a starfish, and yet you're living the life of a wren. And that is what's bringing in the repressed anger. And the anger has its roots in this feeling of heartache and loss. Because if we start out life full of dreams, full of hopes, full of ideals, and over time, the ordinariness of our life, the hard work, the simple, humble, day-to-day tasks that drain us, but yet they have to get done because our families can't live without those ordinary tasks. Perhaps they've crushed our hopes and the dreams that we had as teenagers or as young people. Or if we are young and listening to this reading, perhaps you feel that you feel frustration and anger that you can't get on with your dreams. And there is a sense of heartache and the sense of loss. And that is the root cause of what's creating some frustration and this feeling of stuckness, this feeling of not being able to move forward. And, whether this is the loss of a physical person, that we are busy just going step by step, doing the ordinary tasks, forgetting about the beauty of life, feeling angry at the way things have worked out, or whether it is the loss of a dream, that we dreamed of ourselves being a unique and beautiful starfish, and yet we are stuck and trapped in these ordinary everyday tasks, and that is creating the sense of anger, which has its roots in the heartache and loss. This card is suggesting that there's something about the situation that is actually like an advantage to us. So perhaps we're presenting, perhaps the face that we're presenting to the world is one of perfect harmony. It is that everything is fun, and we're afraid, maybe we left home and we were going to go and conquer the world, and now perhaps we're a bit embarrassed or a bit shy to say that things are not going as great as we thought. And whatever the circumstances that have created the heartache and loss, this card is suggesting that the advantage of staying stuck is that we don't have to lose face, as they say, that we can present this face of everything being perfect and everything being lovely. And therefore, we can't let go the ties that have kept us, that are keeping us in this position of heartache and loss, because we want to keep up this face of everything being harmonious and everything being perfect. But we need to move forward, and we need to grow towards something. And this is the final tarot card. We need to grow towards love. We need to move to where love begins. And love can come out of heartache and loss. But before love begins, we have to let go the heartache and loss. If it is a dream that we've lost, if it is a loved one that we've lost, if it was a hope or a wish or a plan for our life that has not worked out as we wanted it to, if it is not the starfish but the wren, and that's creating anger, but we are afraid to show that anger to the world, and we are afraid to show the heartache and loss, we cannot move forward to a new rainbow, to new dreams. You see the rainbow there? We cannot move forward on the river of life. We cannot cross a new rainbow and find a new rainbow unless we let go whatever it is that is keeping us hiding our heartache and loss. So perhaps we need to let go not only the heartache and loss, but trying to hide that heartache and loss behind the face of the starfish. And we need to reveal the wren. This is what we need to know. This is what we need to recognize and accept for ourselves, that being a tiny, perfect, beautiful, ordinary wren is as beautiful as being a starfish. It is as important, it is as meaningful. And once we can accept that, once we come into that knowledge, we can then start accepting the heartache and loss and letting it go, releasing the anger, dropping the mask that everything is going so well, and we can then move forward towards a new beginning that is filled with love and hope and new dreams. So let us look at the wisdom card, the word Lord. That's interesting. This is about communicate. The word Lord is about communication. It's about praising yourself. It's about making sure that the communications are honest. In the shadow side of the word Lord is that he uses words to be dishonest. And this is interesting because that ties in with the wren, because the wren, being so small, sometimes has to use cunning to achieve what it wants to achieve. And so perhaps it will utilize something that is not quite its own, like it may put on the face of a starfish, which in a way is dishonest, to give the impression of being harmonious and successful. But the word Lord, which is the wisdom from the ancient realms, is saying that we need to learn to praise all aspects of ourselves. We need to accept who we are with humility, with love with acceptance that there is place in the world for both starfish and for the tiny, beautiful wren. And of course, what we must also, the Word Lord also reminds us that we must sing the praises of the wren as well, because there is also a shadow side to the starfish. There is that emptiness, there is that hollowness, there is that sense that it's all superficial. Where the wren is so small, it is a full experience of, it experiences life in its entirety. It has the fullness of life that perhaps the starfish, which just shows this beautiful exterior, lacks. And that is what the Word Lord is saying. We need to learn to praise the wren. And when we show an honest face to the world, when we show the face of the wren rather than the face of the starfish, we can then communicate our desires, our dreams, our hopes, and we can let go the heartache and loss of dreams that didn't work out because they weren't grounded in the true essence of who we are. And we can then move forward to a place where love begins anew. And that air pile is your reading, sent from my heart to yours. I wish you blessings. I wish you so much love. And I look forward to having you join us in the next reading. Now we move on to the water pile. Let's see what cards we have for you, water pile. Here is your Moonstone and mica. Remember that I will be putting a link to how these stones will help you understand your reading. So we start first with the archetype card. Crow. Interesting. Beautiful, magical, mystical crow. Then the first gateway card, which is what do I need to know right now? We have the fox, the beautiful little fox, trying to avoid that ring light. And then what are you feeling right now? And that is the hawk, the sharp-eyed hunter, the hawk. Then we have your 3 tarot cards. The first tarot card is the root cause of what is making you feel stuck, what is keeping you from letting go what you need to let go. That's the heart chakra. That's interesting. Interesting cards. This is the second tarot card is what is stopping me from moving on? What is stopping water pile from moving on and letting go what needs to be released? And this is a major arcana card. It is the intuition card. That's interesting. The intuition card, of course, the crow is very, it's linked to the mystical realms. And the intuition is the high priestess, which of course is an extremely mystical, secretive energy. It's interesting. And then the final tarot card, which is what do I need to grow towards, is, oh, that's a bit of a surprise, the devil, or as it's called in this tarot deck, temptation. Let's see how that fits in, because this is in the position, excuse me, this is what you need to grow towards. This is all those things lurking in the shadows that we tend to run away from. And then this is the wisdom card, the final card of your reading, which we will look at when we've put all these cards together. So let's see what we have here. Okay, so the crow. The crow it's all about psychic abilities. It's a very strong energy. It's a strong mystical energy. It can be, that ties in here with this, what is the advantages of staying stuck? What is the advantages of, what is holding you back from moving on, from letting go? Interesting that it's reflected in the crow energy here. The crow energy can, if it's too open and too strong, it can be a little bit ungrounded. It can be very hypersensitive, because, you know, the crow, of course, is very much a prophet. It's very much in touch with the other world. And when you are in touch with the other worlds, there's an extreme sensitivity. So the crow can sometimes be a little bit oversensitive, and especially if it's unbalanced, if it's not managing that strong psychic mystical energy well, it can be extremely oversensitive, too open. So this may be where the heart chakra is coming in. It may be about setting boundaries and learning to work within them. But let's not jump ahead. Let's finish with the crow first. So the crow, of course, sees all the realities. It sees the reality of the past, the reality of the present, and the reality of the future. So next to the crow, the first gateway, this is what do I need to know? This is the fox card, the beautiful fox, which has come to symbolize the beauty and the harmony of nature and the natural world. But in modern days, of course, the fox, the poor fox, it used to be seen as vermin, but now we tend to see the fox as the victim of man's cruelty. The poor little fox hunted by a pack of hounds and a pack of humans on massive, great big horses. So what is the fox trying to tell us that we need to know? Sometimes, to survive, we may need to make ourselves invisible. We may need to have, to use cunning, to use skill. We may need to be diplomatic. The fox has to have great skill in escaping the hunters that used to hunt him down. The fox never really had anybody to turn to for help. It was always on its own. So this card here in this position of telling us what we need to know about the situation that we need to release. The fox is telling us perhaps that we need to keep our own counsel. We need to go inward. We need to develop ways of not making ourselves quite so visible, and of blending in a little bit more. Not blending in a sly sort of way that we become like a spy, that we watch everybody else, but blending in so that we can quietly observe, and then with skill and diplomacy, we can lead others to a better position, or ourselves to a better position. So it's about knowing when to be silent, knowing when to be unseen, but also at the same time knowing when to step forward and knowing when to speak up. And that is what Fox is telling us about this situation, that perhaps there are times when we need to be silent and there are times when we need to speak up and be seen. And the opposite gateway to Fox is what I am feeling right now. And this is the hawk. And of course, the first thing that springs to mind is that term hawk-eyed. The hawk sees everything. The hawk, if I remember correctly, the hawk was a spirit guide for the ancient Druids. The ancient Druids would go into the spirit world accompanied by the totem of the hawk, and they would hunt down with the hawk eyes. They would hunt down all the flaws in the soul that needed to be healed and brought into a conscious awareness so that could be healed and understood and released. And in this situation of feeling, of what are we feeling right now, perhaps there's a little bit of, I don't want to use the word fanaticism. I'm sort of getting the feeling of self-righteousness here. The crow energy, having the skill and the gifts of crossing between the worlds and having this deep understanding of what's going on beneath the surface. But perhaps here, this hawk-eyed vision is the crow combined with the hawk is perhaps a little bit arrogant. It's forgetting that true service, the true healer, must work from a point of humility, because without humility, the hawk-eyed can become nothing but a cruel hunter, hunting down the flaws in everybody else, hunting down the weaknesses, and in a burst of self-righteous desire to heal, they can perhaps forget that other people have feelings that can be wounded. The crow is very sensitive, and it will be hyper-vigilant about its own sensitivities. But it may be so busy being, and the intentions behind the healing can be good, but that doesn't make the end effect any less hurtful if those gifts of the crow are not used with compassion and with the heart. And the hawk, in its vigilance, can perhaps be a little bit too sharp-eyed. And that, I think, is why the fox energy has come in as well, because the fox is saying that there's a time to be silent and there's a time to speak. There's a time to be seen and there's a time to be invisible. And perhaps these two, this gateway for the crow, is reminding the crow energy that for all its incredible spiritual gifts, its psychic gifts, its ability to see beyond the worlds that other people see, it must be tempered. That gift, if it's not to slip into a destructive ego expression of the gift, the hawk-eyed vigilance needs to be done with humility and with compassion for other people's feelings. There are other people's feelings that need to be taken into consideration as well. So this is not just about what crow energy is feeling, but it is also how crow expresses what hawk sees, so that other people's feelings are also taken into consideration. Now, the root cause of what is keeping us stuck, the root cause of what is preventing us from letting go what we need to let go for the water pile, is the heart chakra. Now, the heart chakra, if it's too open, it can be too sensitive. It can be too filled with empathy. The crow can see too much and it can take on the burdens of the world. But if the heart chakra is too closed, then it loses the compassion and the understanding that is needed to help people heal the wounds that the hawk eye spots. Because what we use the term flaws, like the Druids of ancient days used the spirit animal hawk to go and hunt down the flaws that needed to be taken out, almost exorcised from the human soul. Perhaps the heart chakra card here is reminding us that we need to keep the heart in balance so that we are neither too sensitive nor too insensitive. That to properly use crow energy, to properly use crow magic for healing, for psychic vision, for clear seeing, we need to have a heart that is properly balanced between compassion and strength. I don't want to say power. That's not what I'm getting here. But I think the heart chakra here, as the root cause of not being able to move forward, of not being able to let go and release what we need to, is suggesting that the heart is a little bit out of balance, perhaps either too open or too closed. And what is also preventing us from moving forward is this card here, this High Priestess card, the Intuition card. And that, of course, ties in very nicely with the crow energy, because the crow, I hope you can see these cards. Let me move them a little bit more into the screen. Yeah, okay. I hope you can see them better now. So this card in this position here is all about what is stopping us from moving forward. What is stopping us from releasing what we need to release so that we can grow into something new, that we can grow into something that is a new beginning. A new beginning, that's interesting. I think moonstones, and your stone is all about a new beginning. Yeah, that's interesting. So this is the card of intuition, is the High Priestess. It is that sense of holding secrets, of having gifts and skills that others don't have. It's the High Priestess sitting on her chair with the mysteries, the sacred mysteries hidden behind her. And she holds the key to that wisdom. She holds the key to those secrets of the universe. And it is only through her intuition, through her crow magic, that those secrets, those mysteries, those mysteries of the unknown world can be accessed by other people. And it is perhaps that sense of power which is keeping the waterfowl people stuck in the situation that they actually need to move away from. And that could be that the heart is closing because of this attachment to the image, to the idea, to the concept that the crow energy has the key to the mysteries, to the wisdom, to the ancient knowledge that others don't have. And that makes more sense of this devil card then. Because this devil card was a bit of a curveball when it came out. I wasn't quite sure how it fitted in with the others. But I think what this is what we have to grow towards. And of course the temptation card or the devil card, another major arcana. So you've got two major arcana cards here. That this is in the position that the waterfowl must grow towards. I think it is suggesting that hawk-eyed vision, that they turn on other people's flaws and other people's frailties to help heal them. Perhaps with this attachment to the High Priestess, to the image of the High Priestess, having secret knowledge, having the key to ancient mysteries that other people don't have through the crow gifts and energies. This card, the temptation card, the devil card, is the reminder that the waterfowl, to fully embrace the magic of the crow, to fully embrace the clear vision that the hawk totem brings, and to be able to use the skill and diplomacy that the fox totem brings, we need first to embrace and grow towards our own shadow, towards our own flaws, towards our own, the fractures of our own soul. Because if we have not dealt with our own shadows, we are going to become lost and closed and misdirected when we cross over, when we, like the crow can cross between the timelines of past, present, and future, it can cross between this world and the next world. Unless we have fully faced and embraced and healed and released our own wounds and our own shadows and those own monsters that are hiding in the closets of our minds, we will not properly be able to exercise the crow magic that we are so gifted with. And that perhaps is what we need to let go. We need to let go the active seeking out of other people's shadows. We need to look at our own shadow and lead more by example than sort of lording it over as someone who has access to mysteries that other people don't have. And what is the final wisdom card? The wisdom of the ancient realms. This is the altar priestess, a very interesting card, especially considering that we have the high priestess and intuition card, and we have the crow card. So water pile is very much about, I think that this pile, there's someone or several people in this pile who are extremely gifted psychically, who are great healers, and perhaps what they need to let go of is the idea that this, that somehow this, they either need to be perfect or they have no flaws because they have these gifts. And what the high priestess is suggesting is that everyone and everything is sacred. It is not just us and our beliefs that are sacred, but everything and everyone is sacred. They are just expressed through different sacred rituals, through different prayers. We all prepare in different ways. We may all cook a rice dish, but they will all be prepared in a different way. And this card, I think, is coming to remind us that as we use our crow energy, water power, we need to turn the hawk eye onto ourselves and embrace our own shadows and our own hurts and flaws that need healing. And then we need to let them go and move forward into the full strength of the mystical, amazing, magical crow. And that water pile is your reading, sent from my heart to yours. I wish you blessings. I wish you so much love. And I look forward to having you join us in the next reading. So Fire Pile, we will now look at your cards and see what it is that you need to release and let go. We have the Garnet, beautiful. I don't know if you can see it. Let me hold the flame under it. Beautiful, rich, crimson garnet. And let us have a look at your cards. So, the first card is the raccoon. Cute little creature. Cute little card. Very invisible. Doesn't stand out much. Then the first gateway card. This is what we need to know. Is the dog. It's a beautiful Irish wolfhound from this is the Celtic Druid pack. Let's move that out the way. The second gateway card, which is what you are feeling now, is the Hind, the mystical, spiritual white hind, gentle, almost angelic creature. Now your 3 tarot cards. The first tarot card is the root cause of your problem. The root cause of why you are unable to let go. Let's make a little space here. Can you see? Let me bring those cards down so that you can see them properly. There's the cute little raccoon. There's the hind. So the root cause is patience and planning. The card that shows what is stopping us from moving forward, almost what advantage have we got in staying stuck in the situation that we need to release, is the third eye. Interesting. And the final tarot card is what we need to grow towards to be able to release and let go the situation. And that is memories of love. So this is the final piece of wisdom from the ancient realms, which we will open when we have looked at all of these cards together. So the raccoon. So the underlying energy here for this firepower, can we see you? Let's move the candle here so you can see your flame and you can see your garnet. Let's put your beautiful garnet over there. That's better. So the raccoon energy is an energy, it's a very adaptable energy, it's a very flexible energy. I mean, if you think of the little raccoon, how clever they are in getting food. They also, you know, I almost want to say they shapeshift because they've got those little masks. So there's an implication of having a number of personas, and the raccoon energy allows you to take off the mask and put the mask back on depending on what the situation calls for. A lot of flexibility and adaptability here. The only problem with having all those masks and all those personas is there may almost be a losing touch with the core self. And perhaps I'm getting a feeling here that may be the situation, that I'm getting quite a strange feeling from this card. Quite a sad feeling. It's almost like there's a situation here that the soul has to keep in hiding for safety. Because of course the dog, this is what you need to know, the dog is about protection. And I'm feeling almost that this person, this fire pile, someone in the fire pile, has to stay hidden, has to wear a mask. What you need to know is that dog is always there to protect you and to guide you. The dog energy is all about loyalty. And in this position of what you need to know, perhaps the little raccoon, instead of exhausting itself, putting on masks and taking off masks and completely shape-shifting itself all the time and adapting itself to the external circumstances and almost losing touch with its own inner self, raccoon needs to examine its loyalties. Are the loyalties that it's showing perhaps misplaced? Because you think about a dog will be loyal and will defend even a cruel and hurtful master. And that is almost a misplaced loyalty, because loyalty has to be earned. It has to be, the person receiving your loyalty has to be worth your loyalty. And this dog message is saying, I think this dog card is saying that what you need to know, what you need to look at, little raccoon, fire raccoon, is know that you will be safe and protected, but examine where your loyalties lie. Are you giving your loyalty? It could be a situation, it could be a job, it could be a relationship, it could be a business, it could be anything. But re-examine your loyalties. If you can't exist in that situation unless you are wearing a mask that is suited to external circumstances, then perhaps the loyalties are misplaced, and you will be guided on that journey and you will be protected on that journey, because you think of what dogs offer us. They offer us, in the case of the dogs of the blind, they help lead the blind people, and dogs are extremely loyal, but loyalty can be taken too far, and that is the message that you need to look at from dog. You need to look at and know, are you placing your loyalty in the right, is the person or the situation or the job or whatever it is that you are being loyal to, so loyal that you actually lose sight of your core self because you put on the masks and the personas as necessary. Re-examine that situation and re-examine why you feel so loyal and what your loyalty, is your loyalty correctly placed, or has it gone too far and you're being loyal to a cruel and undeserving master. The hind here, this beautiful, beautiful spiritual white hind, which is following the light into the deep forest. It's also a guiding energy. The hind is calling us to look beyond the current situation. I think the message from the dog and the hind is the same. This is in a situation of what we're feeling. So perhaps on some level, there is some part of you that is answering the call, that you need to look beyond the masks. You need to look beyond the loyalty. Look towards a situation that I want to leap ahead here to what you must grow towards. Memories of love. There is a situation, whatever this situation here that is making you lose touch with your core self, that is making you put on mask and persona after persona to suit the outside because of your loyalty. Look beyond that situation into memories of love, into memories of a situation where things were more normal, where you could be you and not have to wear masks. And that is what Hind is saying. She's saying that you are feeling that this is not right, that there is something better. You have some sort of memory in your emotional body that the situation that you are in at the moment is not one that is healthy and can be changed. Because, of course, this loyalty may allow you to be taken advantage of. And a healthy situation, whether it's a relationship, a job, whatever, will not take advantage. It will be an equal exchange of energies. And Hind is saying, White Hind is saying, look beyond, look into the memories of love that you have of a more normal situation, of a more ordinary situation where you felt valued for who you are and not valued for your ability to adapt to whatever is needed from outside yourself. And let's move on to the root cause. What is keeping you stuck in this situation? If the loyalty is misplaced, if you are having to put on mask and take off mask, shift from one persona to the other, what is the root cause? Perhaps, and this is patience and planning, and the patience and planning card is the root cause of why you can't let go, why you can't release the situation and move forward, is perhaps you are not trusting enough. Both the dog and the hind offer protection. And patience is a virtue, but it can also be a vice, because you can be too patient. You think of, I think it was Aristotle and the golden mean. Never be too angry or too forgiving. Never be too patient or too impatient. It's finding that middle path, that path of moderation, because that is the path where you expend the least energy for the greatest reward and forward movement. So this root cause card is suggesting that perhaps you've been planning something, perhaps you've been patiently waiting for a change that will free you from this situation, but maybe it's time to stop being patient. Because what is the advantage of this card here, the third eye chakra, which of course is all about our intuition. It's the third eye that gives us those gut feelings. We pick it up through our third eye. And perhaps this is what is keeping you stuck. This is what's stopping you from moving forward. And it may be that you are hearing and feeling what the white hand is telling you, but you are not trusting that intuition. You have perhaps lost touch with that core self from all those masks and personas that you've been wearing. You've perhaps lost touch so much with that intuitive part of yourself that you don't, you're not listening, or you're perhaps unable to listen to the whispers of your soul that are saying to you, your loyalty and who you are and what you offer is perhaps being taken advantage of, and is not being offered to somebody who values it as it should truly be valued. And that brings us to the final card in your reading, which is the Memories of Love card, which is all about going back, tapping into that time when you felt appreciated, when you felt valued, when you felt that who you were at a core self was fully and truly appreciated, that the gentleness that you have to offer, the loyalty that you have to offer, was properly valued and made you realize and value your core self, rather than feeling that you've always got to wear a mask. Let's see what additional wisdom is offered from the ancient realms. The Swan Queen, the beautiful Swan Queen floating across the icy waters. So what is the Swan Queen telling us? This is a card, interestingly enough, of patience. It's a card of intuition. So it's bringing in these two cards, but it is also a card of transformation. Because remember the story of the swan, the ugly duckling. It transformed into a beautiful swan. So perhaps what's keeping you, what's preventing you from moving forward is a fear of change. Perhaps you're holding on to the current situation because it's a known situation and it's something that may not be perfect, but you feel protected in it. There may be a deep fear of transformation, there may be a deep fear of change, but the Swan Queen is saying, look at the reflection of your life. Look inward to see the answers. Listen to the call of the white hand. Listen to the message that dog energy is bringing you. And of course, the third eye, which is what's keeping you stuck, is not listening to those whispers from your soul, which you can perhaps doubt or misbelieve when you hear them. And the Swan Queen is saying there is nothing to be afraid of. You will be protected. Both the hind and the dog bring protection. Remember the memories of love that showed you what you can experience when you offer all your gifts, your gift of loyalty, your gift of flexibility, your gift of adaptability, all of those things that are perhaps not being fully appreciated, Fire Pal. And it reminds us too that patience can be taken too far. So I hope that that message resonated with you. And that is your reading, Fire Pal. It is sent from my heart to yours. I wish you blessings. I wish you so much love. And I look forward to having you join us in the next reading. Finally, Earth Pal, we come to your cards. Just a reminder that you have the beautiful Eudialyte. Can you see it there? I've got it too close. How gorgeous is that? I'll put it over there so you can see it. Look at that beautiful, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but there's that beautiful carmine red patches in this ball. It is the most beautiful stone. So let's move on to your cards, and we will see what the cards have to tell you about what you need to release and let go. So the archetype or the underlying energy that is in this reading is the shark. Something lurking there. Almost feels like there's some big danger lurking beneath the surface. The gateway, the first gateway is what you need to know, and that is the air dragon. So that's the air dragon card. And the second card is the hare. This is in the position of what you're feeling. I kind of get the feeling of rabbit in the headlights there. Anyway, let's carry on. The first tarot card, which is the root cause of why you are remaining stuck. What is keeping you kind of stuck? The root cause, spiritual strength. You can see that card, spiritual strength. This is what is stopping you from moving forward. Major arcana, triumph, or the chariot in the traditional packs. That is what is stopping you from moving forward. And the final tarot position, which is what do I need to grow towards, is the solar plexus chakra. Okay. This is the wisdom from the ancient realms. This is the card that we will reveal the final bit of advice for the reading once we have tied all these cards together. So, the shark. I mean, obviously it's one of the most ferocious predators of the sea. It is an animal that never stops moving. It circles and circles and circles its prey, doesn't give in. And it's almost like a hidden danger. It's almost like there's something lurking beneath the surface of this situation that if you stop, it will just come up and bite you. And the bite will be so massive and so dangerous, it could be mortal. Or that's what you feel anyway. That's not necessarily Earth Pal. That's not necessarily what is going to happen. But there is this feeling, this almost sense of, I'm feeling like I can't breathe from fear of this unknown predator lurking in the background, that there's something big and dangerous that's about to happen. And what you need to know, the air dragon is telling you to almost, dragons of course are mythical creatures, they're guardians, they're protectors, they are the final challenge that we need to go through to reach the treasure of the hunt. The air dragon is of the mind, it is of the intellect. Quite difficult for an earth power, because remember this is the earth power, so it's quite difficult for the earth power to imagine flying up to the top of the mountain and having that, I want to say bird's eye view, but let me say dragon's eye view of the situation, which makes everything seem smaller. So from the perspective of the air dragon, what the air dragon is bringing, the message the air dragon is bringing you is that this danger, this feeling of this great danger, it's not quite, when you step back, when you take a step back and you look at it from a different perspective and you look at it from a higher perspective with more reason and not quite so much blind emotion, it is not quite as big a danger or quite as big a problem as you perceive. This is the card of what you're feeling, the hare. And my first impression when this card came out was that rabbit in a headlights look. And I get that feeling that this fear, this circling fear has actually frozen you, that your feelings have just frozen. And yet what one must remember is that the hare is an extremely quick animal. It zigzags out of danger so quickly that it's extremely difficult to catch it. And of course it is, and I'm doing this reading around Easter, so it is interesting that there are eggs in this card, and eggs are new beginnings, new births. The hare is an ancient symbol of crossing from one world to the next. And although you may be feeling a little bit stuck, a little bit caught in the headlights of an oncoming disaster, both the air dragon and the hare remind you that the danger is not as difficult and not as big or dangerous as you are feeling or experiencing it. So you may be feeling as if you're caught in the headlights, but in a second that situation can change and you can zigzag your way out of trouble. So what is the root cause of this trouble that you are unable to let go, of this situation that you are unable to let go, this situation that is bringing you this feeling of doom? And this is the spiritual strength card, and that suggests to me that this pile, earth pile, and of course that's very suited to an earth energy, because earth energy is very stable, it's very strong. It takes a lot to erode the earth away. Fire does damage quickly. A flood can damage quickly. Air moves fast, but the earth is slow, it's steady, it's stable, it's solid. And that is the card, the spiritual strength card that I get. That the energies of this pile are so strong that they're almost too strong, that they are unable to share the burden. They are unable to show weakness, and perhaps they've taken on too much. That's why they need a new perspective, a higher perspective. And that's why they're feeling frozen, because when you burnt out, when you take on too much, no matter how strong you are, there comes a point when you do burn out. And that is when you get that rabbit in the headlights feeling of not knowing which way to turn and just waiting for the danger to come up and bite you or the car to hit you. And the root cause of this energy up here is that this strength is so strong that it doesn't actually know that it doesn't have to be strong all the time, that it can ask for help, that it can show that there are times when it is feeling vulnerable, when it is feeling tired, when it is feeling not strong but weak, and maybe perhaps it needs to be carried rather than carrying everybody else. You think about it. To get the gold out of the earth has to be shored up. It has to have pillars holding it up. And perhaps in this situation that you need to let go is of needing to appear, and this is what is keeping you stuck. This is what is stopping you from moving forward, is this perception of this triumphant success. In the traditional decks, this card is the Chariot, and that image is the one that's more coming to me now as in connection with the spiritual strength card, because it's the image of this very powerful, strong man controlling through, and of course I say man, but we all have masculine and feminine energy within us, so it's not gender specific. But in the Chariot card, it's this powerful energy holding together two horses, one black, one white, and they're pulling in the opposite direction. And through sheer self-discipline, through strength, through his own power, he's controlling those horses and directing them the way that he wants to go. But there's a very subtle warning in that card as well, because his chariot is made of stone. And it's a reminder that sometimes when you're so busy being strong, you can lose your flexibility, and then if an accident happens, that stone will shatter. And this, I think, the root cause of not being able to move forward, of feeling stuck in the headlights, of having lost perspective, and of having this sense of doom creeping up on you, that everything is going to just be lost with one bite of this lurking predator. And so what is stopping you from moving forward is this feeling of needing to be in control all the time, of needing to be the strong one, of needing to use your willpower and to give the impression of having everything under control. Because that leads us to the final tarot card, which is that this is what you must grow towards. And this is the solar plexus chakra. And it ties in very nicely with the strength chakra, with the strength card, and with the triumph card, the chariot card, because the solar plexus, of course, is that center of our body where our willpower comes from. It is just above the belly button, and it is where our inner will, our willpower, our discipline. It is a brilliant yellow color. It is the part of us that leads us towards the golden treasure through self-discipline, through strength, through power, and that is the solar plexus chakra. But our chakras can become imbalanced, and this spiritual strength card is the root cause of not being able to move forward, of not being able to release whatever it is that's bothering you. It suggests that the solar plexus chakra is overbalanced, that there's too much emphasis placed on the solar plexus chakra. And perhaps there is this pile, earth pile, you need to maybe do a little bit of heart work, you maybe need to do a little bit of mind work, and maybe do a little bit of root, of grounding yourself. Because an overbalanced solar plexus chakra can push you into burnout, because there is this inability to rest. There's this continual push, 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 until you reach burnout and you end up feeling like a rabbit or a hare caught in the headlights. So the final piece of advice, the advice from the ancient realms, this is the camel boy. You don't always have to be the grown up. You can be the camel boy, just riding along using the strength of the camel. And what the Camel Boy card is saying is you don't always have to achieve everything in one go. And also, more importantly, and particularly important for you, Earth Pal, the Camel Boy is bringing the message, ask for help. There is no shame in asking for help. It is better to ask for help and to take small steps than to end up losing everything that you've worked for because you burn yourself out and you then fall prey to the lurking dangers and stresses that have been created in this situation where you are trying to be strong for everybody else and you are unable to show your vulnerabilities and you are unable to ask for help. So, that Earth Pal is your reading for today. It is sent from my heart to yours. I wish you blessings. I wish you so much love. And I look forward to having you join us in the next reading.